Hello and welcome. You can see a frog in my hands, and you must be thinking, what is this frog doing today? Yes, you guessed it right. This is the example for today, a frog. And why is it important? Because America started liking it. USA or US Air Force started liking this frog. And what is that? How is it? Uh, the amphibious nature of this frog has attracted the US Air Force to think something different now. I mean, the recent years, if you see, it's almost 39 years or 40 years, the US Air Force retired its seaplane. And why am I talking about seaplane today? Because like this amphibian creature, they are going to go for an amphibious aircraft. I mean, this is not nothing but a workhorse. If you see the kind of tasks or operations it has accomplished till today, it is superb. I mean, you see this aircraft, you take the case of Afghanistan or take the case of Iraq, many other rescue operations by US Air Force, and this aircraft was there. Whenever it was called, it was there. Transporting troops, transporting materials, weapons, anything, you name it, and it is there. Now, US Air Force is thinking, why not give a new life or new type of task to this all-time favorite aircraft. Why am I saying all-time favorite? Because you see the order book list of this particular C-130J Hercules, Super Hercules. It's tremendous. The Australian Air Force, RAF, they want it. The Norway one, they want it. Then take the case of UAE, India, Qatar, Kuwait, you name it. Even Mongolia have started asking for this aircraft. Israel, almost all the air forces, they want a piece of this Super Hercules 130J. Now, this aircraft, who made it? Lockheed Martin, of course. Lockheed Martin, 25 years ago in the year 1996, they made the first flight for this aircraft, and after that it has been tremendous. I mean, like if you see their payload capability, 46,700 pounds, absolutely awesome. If you see the range, 2,160 nautical miles, beautiful. And if you see the takeoff load is also reasonably good, like 164,000 pounds. That's how it's sustainable. And moreover, this can, it doesn't need the longer runway. In this case, on the general Air Force runways or any other runways around the world, it's around 0.9 kilometer. I mean, like 900 meters is enough for this aircraft. So this tremendous aircraft, US Air Force, their special command, they have this special command, which is US AFSOC, US Air Force Special Operations Command. They are planning to give this new life along with their research lab. Now, this research lab, which is AFRL-SDPE, which is Air Force Research Lab Strategic Development and Planning Experimentation. This lab and AFSOC, they are working on the digital models as of now, like on 17th of this month. They are working on the digital models, the renderings, and they are working on the CAD designs to find out how much sustainable this aircraft will be, what are the usabilities, and how this can be developed further. All these things, groundwork is going on, and they are expecting within 17 months they are going to make their plan ready, and they can bring this aircraft to be an amphibious aircraft, or they can convert it into an amphibious aircraft. So this is the plan. Now let's see what are they planning to do. Let me give you an example. See this aircraft. This is not the Hercules 130J, but taking it as a similar aircraft. What are they going to do? You see here these landing gears. This is for normal takeoff on the runway. But now what are they going to do? On these landing gears, they are going to install some removable floats. You see this one? What am I attaching? It's some kind of aluminum foils I am attaching here, but you see this? Let's see. So if I can show you more closely, this is just an example, but they are going to install these floats, which will be a proper modification, not my modification what I have shown you here. So this after the modification, this can land and take off from the water, and of course it will have provisions where it can do some taxi operation using the drag wheels. So this will be a real time modification within 17 months. They are planning some 5 phases for this. Within this 17 months, they are going to complete this. And whenever they don't need these floats, because I said it's removable, they can definitely remove them. And again, the favorite Super Hercules is back to work. I mean, it can again take off and land from the normal runways, whether it's military or the cases where it is civilian, allowed civilian spaces. So this is their plan, that we are going to do this. And what are they going to achieve by this? Definitely they extended the range where they couldn't reach earlier by landing on the runways, regular runways. That could be extended on the water bodies or runways where there is no other place for a ready-made runway. I mean, you don't need a runway there. In case of conflicts or wars, the runways can be destroyed, but what about water bodies? They are all the time available for their landing, so they have this benefit if they modify it within this 17 months. They can do many rescue operations, they can do the transportation of their troops, they can move the armaments, the vehicles that is required for some critical operations. They can go for infiltration, so they can do the exfiltrations, many operations which they think that is suitable to American Air Force or US Air Force, that can be easily done with this new modification. So it's like they are going to give a new kind of innovation to this, but this innovation is not new. I mean, before to that, the Air Force had their seaplanes. If you see the seaplanes which did which played a greater role during the World War II, and after that, I mean, it lost its charm, because the capabilities increased in terms of carriers, the aircraft carriers, or the capabilities increased in terms of modern aircrafts. That time these planes lost their sheen. But now, why are they thinking this? Specifically US Air Force, why is it thinking? They are seeing something happening in the Pacific. Yes, the Indo-Pacific region is what they are targeting, where in the future they can have a probable conflict with China. Yes, that is one of the major reasons. All this amphibious, amphibian, all this thing is eyeing a Pacific engagement, and in this Pacific engagement, if they if they got this water bodies tamed using their Hercules, super Hercules, that's nothing like that. So it will be like really marvelous for the team. And why are they thinking now? Because if you see, China has already developed a seaplane, which they demonstrated in the year 2020. This model AG600, which is the largest seaplane, China has brought it. They started developing some 5-6 years back, and by 2020, they brought it to the show that okay, we have this seaplane. And exactly after that, US Air Force started thinking about this, and now they are coming up slowly. And this 17th of September, they announced that they are doing something with this Super Hercules. So that was the reason China had developed this capability, and US sees that there is something going to happen in Pacific Ocean, and US must be ready about that. So they want this aircraft to be modified, or this amphibious aircraft to be modified, where they will have an upper hand in the seaborne operations, or wherever it is, the naval conflicts. In all those areas, US will have an upper hand. That is what their plan is. And will they be successful? Of course, yes. You have seen the role of the Super Hercules. Definitely, if this can be done, it will be really helpful. But what are the demerits? If you see these amphibious aircrafts, most of them, they prefer the propeller aircrafts. I mean, like, you generally don't use the turbojets for this. The turbojets are not the suitable aircrafts for this amphibian activities, or amphibious activities on the water bodies. The most preferred model is the propellers. Now these propellers, because they are propellers, the aircraft is slow. It will not be as fast as the fighter jets, but of course it can play a role in tankering or in support operations to the bases, or maybe wherever there will be some rescue operations, it will be there. Sometimes it can play a role in some firefighting operations as well, if required at any particular place. These all things they can do very nicely. And also US Air Force is planning to, after the development of this particular capability, they are going to add this design to all the models of this Super Hercules. I mean, take the case of their Air Force, where they have variants like MC-130J or AC-130J or EC-130J, or take the Marine Corps, they have the KC-130J. These all models can be installed with these floats, which I showed you. These floats, it looks simple, but it's a modification. It's a proper modification, a proper way to do it. So these all variants are also going to be added, and this will prove as to be a better weapon whenever US Air Force want it. So this is the plan. So what capability, or what is the capacity this aircraft can carry, or this amphibious aircraft can carry? If you see, 92 packs capacity it has. It can carry 92 persons at a time, or 62 airborne troops. They can be carried in that aircraft, or 6 pallets with kind of cargo or vehicles or any military armament required, that can carry. Because if you see the cargo space inside this aircraft, it's around 41 feet into 10 feet into 9 feet. So it's quite good. The area is quite good where they can, carry any kind of provisions or any kind of requirements that they have anywhere. So this will be quite helpful, and this amphibious aircraft will be useful for Air Force, keeping China in the view. The China specific development to counter the AG600, which is made by AVIC, that is Aviation Industry Corporation of China. So they are eyeing this AG600 a counter to that. That is the idea of US Air Force. That is where they are going to do these modifications and bring their workhorse to mainstream. I mean, on the water bodies wherever it is required. You see the China, they have made so many islands of them. They have curated so many small islands in the Pacific, or you can see the South China Sea, from where they are planning to operate this AG600, or they are going to base it on those islands, from where they can be alert about wars, or they can start a conflict, and US Air Force knows this. So they also want this capability to match to them. How far it will be successful, only time will say. We have this report today which we saw that Super Hercules with floats, the amphibious capability is coming up, and we will see, and once within this 17 months further development comes up, we will discuss about this matter once again. So for today, thank you for watching this video. Please come back again for another discussion at another time. Take care.